Hey guys, I'm Tim Langston with Red Dog Bushcraft. Welcome to another coffee chat. So I was asked, one of the comments on my YouTube channel, what's my favorite knife maker? Unfair question. I have several favorite knife makers. Right now I am enjoying the Scorpion. This is the Dirty by Design, the new look from the Pathfinder Knife Shop. Great blade, great function. I've been sitting out here whittling on some sticks all day, taking the bark off of some hickory and utilizing that 90-degree spine and just sitting here working with it and getting used to it a little bit. But great knife company, good people, stand behind their products. The heat treat on the Pathfinder Knife Shop knives, 1095, is a totally different critter than other 1095s that I've used in the past. They've got some stuff going on with their quality of the steel that they use and the way they do their heat treat that is just fantastic. But there's other knife makers out there, knives that I really enjoy. LT Wright, I have several of his knives, and every one of them that I have are great blades. The craftsmanship that goes into them are just beautiful. The Battle Horse and the Blind Horse knives that I've got, both of those companies, the same thing. Just the quality of the materials and the craftsmanship that go into them. They're true works of art. I've never had one to fail me, and their customer service and the quality of their materials are just fantastic also. Habelis Bush Tool, they do a really nice job with their tools. The quality of the materials that they use are top-notch, and I would not hesitate to utilize their knives. When I first started getting into woodcraft and bushcraft, I bought some Moras, and they served me very well, and I still use them today. I keep one in my crafting bag that when I'm doing a lot of tasks like I'm sitting here doing with this Scorpion today, I like them in the way they work wood. I think Mora was the very first Scandinavian knife that I ever owned. And I still go back to them. So great product. Everybody talks about how good they are because of the price. You know, they say, you know, for the money you can't beat them. But even if that knife costs more, it's the functionality of that knife. And all of these knives, the different knife makers that I'm talking about, the issue you have with choosing a knife is I can do most anything that I want to do with this knife right here. I can process fish, I can process game, I can skin with it, I can do woodcraft with it, and that's why I find myself going back to the Scorpion quite a bit. But I have several favorites out there that, depending on what I'm doing, I enjoy using those knives. But if you find yourself looking for a new knife, or maybe you're upgrading, or you just want to try something different, those are the companies that I would recommend just because I've had such success with them. Now with that said, knives are like many things in life. You know, different people are going to like different things. The way it feels in your hand, the usability of that knife for your skill level, whatever that may be. And I'm not the most skillful person with a knife. I enjoy knives and I use them a lot. I've made several, but I'm no expert by any stretch of the imagination. I'm just trying to pass on to you the knives that I have used and that I really enjoy using. Even Condor, that's a very popular knife that's out there, and I've got a couple of their knives, and I enjoy using those too. But if you're going to ask me what my favorite knife is, that's not really a fair question, because well, I can tell you what my favorite is, but really shouldn't drive your decision on what knife you buy. But here's what I will tell you. Trying to find a blade profile that is advantageous for whatever you find yourself doing most of the time, the activity that you're looking for, that should drive a lot of your research. The other thing is, if you have an opportunity to go out and actually use that knife before you buy it, or at least stand in a location to where you can put your hands on it, that will do a lot for you. And the reason I stress that is because the way that knife fits in your hand in different positions, depending on what you're doing with it, your comfort level with it will determine how you like that knife. Different hand sizes and different carving techniques and filleting techniques and so on are going to vary from individual to individual, and thus the dilemma that those of us who really like knives run into, because I may like the way a Mora performs in one task, and I like the way my Scorpion performs in another task. But the key to all of that is, if the knife's not comfortable in your hand and you don't have confidence in it, it's not going to be a knife for you. No matter how much I like it, it just will not be the knife for you. But with that said, we're doing a lot of with that said, because it's a hard subject. But with that said, you've got to go out and actually use that knife. I'm sitting here today and I'm taking the bark off of some hickory poles that I'm going to be using for some different projects coming up. And I'm sitting here using the Scorpion because I'm getting acquainted with this knife. Now, I've used it quite a bit. I've shot reviews on this knife. I've spent a lot of time with it before I shot those reviews, but I find myself enjoying using it more and more, and I want to learn how to use it more and more. And that's why you see me sometimes in the video, instead of just using this part of the blade here, I'll use the entire blade and not really conserve any of it. And that's really not a good practice if you're in a survival situation. You want to utilize your blade to where you keep that point down there for your fine processing and your emergencies, keeping it razor sharp. But when I'm out testing a blade, I like to use the entire blade and do things with the knife that I might not necessarily do every day, because I'm seeing what that knife is made out of and how it performs in different tasks, and I want to see how the blade performs at all of the different cutting angles and the radiuses of the blade, how it performs. As it curves, how is it getting in and scooping, and how does it work around some of these knots and things that I'm working on. It gives me a good understanding of how the knife performs, and you know, do I need to do a little push cut or get in here and really get on it, or do I need to get over here and draw? It all depends on how I'm holding it and how I'm utilizing it, what I'm trying to do. So you have to get out there and spend a little bit of dirt time practicing with your knives. But if you stick with those manufacturers, and there's others out there, don't get me wrong, I've got a Williams Collins knife that is a Skinner that I utilized last year and this year on the trap line, that when it comes to skinning, it's a fantastic blade. The quality, the handle profile, the heat treat, everything on it lends itself very well. Another fantastic knife maker. But those guys that are out there that are making knives one at a time, that are true craftsmen in their art, it's hard to beat their products. So hope that gives you a little bit to think about. I enjoy testing knives. I enjoy using knives, and I think you will too. So thanks for joining me for this little coffee chat. Until next time, I'm Tim Langston with Red Dog Bushcraft, home of global safety and survival. Hope it helped.